right, boys and gals that watch. RMAX. It's my buddy Trav. He's in a lot of videos. He wants to talk about some the dual battery setup, I believe. A lot of people seem to be asking questions about it out there on the internet.
Yeah, well, more or less people ask me that know me, you know, how I've done it in the past. And then also I have seen quite a few posts just on local state pages, local trail pages, just anybody running dual battery. These things are just growing in accessories. Everybody running lights and stereos like we are, and they just want to leave their stuff on without draining their main battery. So dual batteries are becoming huge. I've been doing them for 4 years now. First one I did was on my Razor, then my last X4, and now the RMAX. Did each one a little different. I'll explain that kind of along the way, but essentially I'm doing it really a cheap and affordable way versus your OEM kits. I think the one for Yamaha here is like close to 300 bucks, where not including your battery, and I have, well, $0 into this because all the parts came from the last machines. But if I had to even go to the store and buy all this, not including the battery, I'm only in it for less than 100 bucks. So it's pretty cheap, pretty easy, not too difficult. There's other versions on YouTube. This is just what I've done and what I've learned from along the way. As far as the RMAX goes, yeah, I can take that for a second. This is where the factory one would put it. That tray is just a cheapo special you get on the internet. Bolted to the floor. Little bolts down there with a little bracket that holds the battery in, so don't go anywhere. You definitely want to use an AGM battery or a sealed battery so you're not splashing or leaking acid. But yeah, it's just mounted there. 2 grounds, 2 positives. One ground's your main chassis. The other ground goes up to my fuse block up there. And then 2 positives. One goes up to my shutoff relay, and one goes to my fuse block. Here, I'll hand this back to you and point at shit. This is where I have changed things up over the years. On my Razor originally was the first one I ever did a dual battery, and I didn't do any shutoff. I never had a problem with a battery draining, but people say you should put a shutoff in, and I don't disagree with it. And I guess I did it for the last one, and I just kind of made it better for this one. So on my X4, I had this big donk battery disconnect switch. I'm sure you've seen these before. They're marine grade. They work. It just takes up a lot of real estate on the dash. They're ugly. I saw a different guy do this. I by no means claim inventing this one, but
Excuse me, folks.
it works.
I'm still here.
Just a 3-pole relay. Your main power comes in from your battery. That's my one main positive. Then there is a lead that goes from that same main lug down to an auxiliary battery switch here. I don't know if you could hear that, but that's the solenoid. And then your other wire comes off your switch and just goes to this middle nut. It's as simple as that. And then on your other side is my positive that comes out, goes to my fuse block here. So then on my fuse block, I got my stereo, my interior LED lights, my lights that are in my speakers. I used to have backup lights on there. I don't have too much, to be honest, compared to some people. My light bar is on with my keyed accessory, so if you have a Yamaha using these 5 plugs under your dash back here, that is where my light bar comes in. Mostly because I feel like if I'm ever running my light bar, my machine is on. I don't feel the need to have my light bar on if I'm not driving it. So that's the main reason I did it that way. The key to kind of your dual battery working is this isolator or insulator. I think it's isolator. The brand I use is True. I can zoom in on this part number if I can try for a second. I don't know if that's clear. I don't know if it got clear, but UTV SBI-15. I honestly don't know 100% if they still make it. Like I said, this is from my original Razor. It's 5-6 years old. It's been dunked, held underwater in the Razor. It just works. It lasts. I've never had a problem with it. I think it was 60 bucks on Amazon or eBay. I don't remember. I can tell you I bought just this. I didn't buy their whole wiring kit and everything else. I bought just this and then ordered my cable and wiring separate. I'm not a big fan of kits. You're generally cutting the cables down to size anyways, or just wasting money that you don't need. Go order a roll of wire or go to a store, and if you can buy it by the foot, something like that. I prefer to just buy it by the roll, or other things I take apart I save all things wire and cable out of. But essentially the way these work, it says right on it, main battery, auxiliary battery. So you run one wire lead up to your true off your auxiliary battery, and then one wire off here to your main. The whole point in this is so that you leave your stereo on or run your stereo, your battery can get low, you could leave it on all night, kill the battery, you can still start your rig and drive it. You'll always still have your main battery working. The other main thing the True does for you, I'll start it, you'll see what it does, but it'll actually, once it goes over like 13 volts or some odd volts, you'll see it, a little blue light come on. And what that means is it knows there's enough voltage that that battery is charged, and your stator will then start charging your auxiliary battery for you. So you shouldn't have to worry about charging your battery unless you really kill it. Then obviously you'll have to go down there and hook a charger to it, but that will basically maintain that battery for you. And we go back in there, the way you know that's working, I always put a little voltmeter on. This is kind of wired up where I'm gonna shut it back off, but this switch is from an older machine when I used to run both into here. I don't really feel it's necessary for this one, so I just didn't run the extra wire, but you can see how it went from almost 14 volts to 12.3. That's that isolator kicking on and off and the charge from the battery running it. This is the main switch I was talking about for my battery. You can see how that came on, and then also my stereo's on there, my interior lights, my other lights. Oh boy! Don't want any copyright issues.
That wasn't long enough to be copyrighted. Hopefully. Go to play.
And then,
Texas.
like I said, my light bar is activated by my key switch, so I'll see the key also, and that all kicks on. So, but there's another way to wire your switches. I don't know if you notice the blue lights on when I flip it off. They're off. I did that on purpose because I have interior lights so I can see at night. I just don't want any kind of possible drain if I left it on or whatnot. So I'm like, I might as well just not have those lights on all the time. But if you look at the directions on these switches, it tells you how to wire them to have lights on all the time or not have them on. I just opted to not have them on, but pretty much all there is to it. Really ain't that difficult. This whole glob of wires you see in here is, believe it or not, 3/4 of it's for the speakers, because obviously each speaker gets their own wire. So most of that glob is actually speaker wire, and then the little lights. Another thing I recommend I did this year: buy yourself a roll of wire that's nice and black, so you don't have to worry about putting it in conduit. It's got your red and black inside. This is just 16/2, 100-foot roll, real affordable on Amazon. I don't remember what I paid, but it ain't much. But it's just clean looking, and then feeding this around versus trying to feed a bunch of wires is just night and day difference on easiness. No sense making it more difficult.
Yeah, true story.
And then also, I guess one thing I recommend, see if I can find a good example. Yeah, go up by the fuse box. We like to do a little bit of water riding and mudding. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that. All the wiring you do is always heat shrink. If you look real close, you can kind of see how there's glue coming out, or this is all shrunk down. That's all just watertight shrinks. My butt splices are that way. These are just ring terminals, but every wire I use heat shrink. Doesn't cost much extra money, and it just gives you a better connection that you don't have to worry about. And honestly, that glue on there too, if you even have a bad crimp, that glue will help hold that wire there, and you almost never have any issues. But yeah, you can see that one's not a heat shrink. That one is though. But just something I recommend.
That's about it, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't help him with any of this. He's the wiring guy. I can't stand that stuff. So lucky to have a guy in the group that likes wiring. So yeah, if anybody watches the video, you know, Travel, be on the channel and make sure he comments back, because if you guys ask a question on the channel, I ain't gonna know what the hell you're talking about. So
yeah,
but I'm just the guy that holds the camera. So yeah, hopefully it helps somebody. Good night, everybody.